Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys and action figures. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you're a fan of action figure collecting or toys or pop culture in general, please subscribe to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. Every week I open a recently acquired toy, action figure, or collectible. This week I want to talk about comic book distribution. Not something associated with toys per se, but I'm going to take you there. You see, until recently, Diamond Distribution was the company primarily responsible for distributing comic books from the publisher, like DC or Marvel Comics, to your local comic book store. But in the last few years, DC and Marvel and other companies have actually pursued alternate ways to distribute their product, their comic books, graphic novels, and collectibles. Specifically, DC Comics sought Penguin Books for distribution. If you're an avid reader, you most likely know the publisher Penguin. And now they're distributing DC Comics to local comic book stores and other book markets. So, what does that have to do with toys? Well, I dare propose that last year, in 2021, Penguin Books was not the largest distributor of DC Comics, but instead, McDonald's was the largest distributor of DC comic material. How could that be? Well, in their Happy Meals last year, McDonald's sold Teen Titans Go activity packs featuring the DC logo and, in fact, including a comic strip starring these characters. So many kids most likely read their very first DC comic in some capacity thanks to McDonald's Happy Meal toys. And so I collected them all. The first one featuring, or the second one here featuring Robin. Others featuring Raven. Here's the first one with Starfire, Cyborg, and then some pairs. These guys, and then this cool group shot. I haven't opened any of these yet because I wanted to discuss how McDonald's was the primary distributor of DC Comics last year. And that's a controversial thing to say for comic book fans because, like I said, distribution has been a bit of a hot button topic in the last few years. But we all know that way more kids frequent McDonald's than your local comic book store or regular bookstore. So I propose that DC made a wise move in including Teen Titans Go as one of the initiatives for Happy Meals last year. Now I'm just going to open the Robin box for this episode, because frankly, I have two of this one. And so I can open this one with a clear conscience knowing that the other one will remain mint in package. Let's see what kids were experiencing last year when they acquired the Teen Titans Go activity pack. On the back of the box, you see some other great art actually here. Teen Titans, what's it say? Titans team up. Use your sticker sheet to place the Titans and the outlines next to Robin. Okay, so there's some interactivity promised here. But these activity packs included these stickers, which again, kids are encouraged to apply to the back of the package. A couple of colored pencils, double-sided, with Teen Titans characters on them. And then this large poster, which is going to be difficult to show on screen. But bear with me here as I unfurl it. I'm a big fan of Robin. I like the idea of Batman trying to redeem kids similarly orphaned as he was. Now, I don't know if putting them in spandex and taking them out in Gotham crime fighting is the best way to redeem them, but it's interesting that that's the only way Batman knows. Okay, so look at the size of this poster of Robin that kids were encouraged to color, obviously. And I assume each one of these Happy Meal packs includes a character-centric poster like this. But on the back is a full-fledged comic strip. And I'll go in front of my table here with creator credits featuring talent from DC Comics. And these are sequential strips. This is part 2, which means in the first box, which was Starfire's box here, I presume that's part 1. And then part 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 8. So you had to collect them all to get the entire story, which would amount to an 8-page comic book, albeit very oversized, but penciled, inked, lettered, laid out, just like any other comic strip. Again, making McDonald's the primary distributor of such comic book material last year. Pretty incredible, in my opinion. When you look at this and see that it's very well illustrated, it looks a lot like the cartoons kids are familiar with on Cartoon Network. And at the same time, it includes all of the tropes of a traditional comic book page. And what's going on down here? Unleash your creativity, draw new furniture, and redecorate the room. So again, this kind of interactivity with the comic strip takes things to a different level. And it helps the kids become a part of the storytelling process here. So they're not just experiencing their first comic, but they're creating, in part, their first comic as well. They're co-creating this very comic with the likes of Jay Torres and the other creators involved. So very, very cool. And so again, with this being part 2, I presume part 3 picks up where this strip leaves off, and so on. If you see these on the secondary market, I encourage you picking them up, if only to complete your Teen Titans comic book collection. Here's another quick look at the paneling here. This quality of work is no different than what you'd find at your local comic book store in a Teen Titans Go comic strip. So, while oversized, there is no difference here to me in this versus a regular comic book page. And in 8 parts, a regular comic book story that would be featured perhaps as one part in an anthology of stories, or the backup story in any given comic book. Absolutely incredible to consider that McDonald's was the primary distributor of DC Comics last year. How many of these Happy Meals were distributed compared to your average comic book title in any given month? And I think that answer would shock us. I don't have the numbers, and I'm not going to look them up, but I dare say that there are more Happy Meals sold in any given month than any one title of any given comic book. Even your highest selling title, like a Spawn or Batman, something along those lines, we're in the hundreds of thousands there. How many Happy Meals do you think are sold a month? I would propose a couple of million. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm inflating and exaggerating the impact of such a Happy Meal toy. But I do insist that this was probably many kids' first exposure to the comic book format, the cooperation of writing and illustration and lettering, not to mention then coloring that they would provide, becoming a part of the creative process. If the first comics I ever read, specifically the ones that came with Masters of the Universe or Superpowers action figures, included an element where I could draw in a panel or color some of the story, that might have prompted or inspired me to start creating comics even sooner than I already did. So who knows the impact of these Happy Meal toys. But I dare say that it is much greater than we gave them credit for at the time, or even now. In years to come, somebody might be making a YouTube video and crediting this series as the first time they saw comics. So thanks, McDonald's. Thank you, DC Comics, for thinking outside of the box, and I hope that you'll consider doing so again in the future. I would propose that the second greatest comic book distributor, not last year but this year, is the Dollar Tree, with the Final Faction comic book that I very recently covered, no pun intended, right here on this channel. So hot on the heels of McDonald's distributing comic strips, you have Dollar Tree distributing these comic books. I'd love to know how many of these were published, and compare that to an Amazing Spider-Man or a Superman title? How many of those comics were published in comparison? And is the distribution comparable from Dollar Tree to your local comic book store? Questions that fans like me think about. So, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Again, please like it and subscribe to this channel so that you can catch the next time I look around here in my living room and I grab a toy or a Happy Meal a prize, and I tell myself, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.